Why? What's happening?
All right, so we're now live, and you should be able to hear us now. Comment down below if you can hear us. Can everyone hear us? I think everything's working perfect today by the looks of it. The streaming software is working.
Whoop, whoop.
Everyone can hear, right?
Yep, seems they can.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, perfect. This is amazing. Everything's working. Now watch, it's going to fail.
Oh no.
Alrighty, so it's just Eastern and I right now. There should be 2 more people joining us. We've changed our weekly stream again. It's Mondays at 8 p.m. now. So our team's just getting used to that as well. It looks like 2 of them forgot that it's at 8 and not 8:30 anymore, just because people got to get to bed on a Monday night. But we have some really interesting topics of discussion to talk about today, and I have a feeling it might get heated. Just based off of what was happening in our Discord server, literally like a few seconds before joining in here.
Yeah.
If 2 more people join, it's going to get so heated because these are really controversial topics.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so I guess we'll start.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is working. So hopefully, if it's working, you should see Kentucky Flyer, Something is in the Wind, 920, and a little bit of Firehawk from Kings Island on the screen. Now this is where it gets really interesting because I didn't even talk to my team about this theory today. So I have this crazy theory that I'm just starting to like indulge in, and I wanted to like discuss it with you guys, and you guys could be totally open and honest with me right now. You could be like, you are just reaching right now, but I have this weird theory, Eastern, and those that are watching, that maybe Firehawk is being sold off to Kentucky Flyer. A couple people have thought this too, and it got me to thinking Something is in the Wind and Kentucky Flyer. I was like, maybe Kentucky Flyer is a flat ride. But then I got to thinking the park kind of teased it like, who's to say it isn't a coaster? And sorry, I just paused there because I'm reading the comments. They're coming in so hard. I'm trying to see.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, what if Firehawk? Because if you look at it, the closing date and the announcement date for Kentucky Flyer, we'll say, are very close together. And it's almost like, was that done on purpose? Like, is there a late announcement because of Kings Island? The word flyer and the whole teasing of an airplane, retheming this to some sort of air base, because it's already themed to an air base, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's themed to like flying or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Firehawk, yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, for Kings Island and Cedar Fair nowadays, I've heard this coaster is a bit like, I would say Kings Island is out of Firehawk's league at this point. Like, Firehawk is that like ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend that's like, you're just like, no. So, but for a park like Kentucky Kingdom, this would be amazing. It would be cheap because they're investing a lot of money, right? And they have to kind of slow down on those investments, right? So buying a used coaster is kind of right up that park's alley if they're going to continue to expand at the rate they're expanding. What do you guys think? Well, first of all, Eastern, tell me what you think about all this, and I'll go read and respond to some comments while you do that.
Honestly, I mean, I can see this happening. I mean, we all know the rumors of Firehawk closing and being moved somewhere, and it is a flying coaster, as you know. It's become a Flying Dutchman, and I do think it is very well possible for them to ship it to Kentucky Kingdom because they are, they're a newer park, so they're trying to expand rapidly, right, as any new park would, and so maybe they might have thought, oh, well, let's get Firehawk since that's leaving, right? So I can see Firehawk moving to Kentucky Kingdom since, for one, it'd be a new coaster for the park, and two, making it leave out of Kings Island would make room for a lot of space for like a new coaster, and all the Kings Island fans are wanting their B&M GIGA, so removing Firehawk would definitely open up space for them to get a Giga, and it would also benefit Kentucky Kingdom as they're getting a new coaster.
Right? It's just everything about this teaser. I was like, you know me. I was like, oh, it's that flat ride. It's
oh yeah.
I was like, it's just gonna be like Skyhawk from Canada's Wonderland.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, would it not be called Flyers if it was a flat ride and had multiple? Like, you know what I mean? Flyer is like singular, and a train is a flyer, right? So I'm like, it's interesting because, yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I just think it does like make sense. Like you notice, like freedom flyers can, like flyer names, they're usually with an S, and this is only one. So you think, oh, maybe with your analogy of having it being a train and the train is flying. So I think that very well is possible for it to be, Firehawk, considering the name.
All right. People are all over the place in the comments section. Let me yeah. If it's true, if Kings Island has had a lot of maintenance problems with it, which we have kind of heard they have. I'm not from Kings Island, so I wouldn't know if that's the case. It would be difficult to sell that coaster to another park. Now, it all depends on what Kentucky Kingdom's expansion plan is. Like, if they're trying to get as many coasters in there to catch up with the rest of the parks, then buying a used coaster and maybe getting some new parts put in, like ordering, like, new electronics, new station parts, that's not out of the question either, right? They could revamp this in the process. Most of the times when parks buy used rides, the coaster actually gets shipped off and then it gets kind of refurbished.
Oh, yeah.
Before obviously, it gets installed.
Yeah, making it look better, obviously, because they don't want to know that it was relocated from somewhere else, right? So you're going to want to give it a new identity, in other words.
So, that being said, we are going to talk about Kings Island a little later in the stream. This is just Kentucky Kingdom, this part. So, Carowinds. So this picture is from Carowinds Fans Only on Facebook. I actually love that group in terms of keeping up with Carowinds construction. So as always, I suggest go follow them because they have, any day the park's open, they're providing updates on what's going on. So I love that. So track arrived. That's exciting. And the color is gorgeous. But in this picture, does it not look like Val Raven and Yukon Striker? Like, is Cedar Fair got a new love child, and it's like this brown color scheme?
I was gonna say, I've noticed a lot more of the recent coasters like to have that kind of copper brown color. We've seen it starting with Val Raven, and now it's continued to Yukon Striker, and lo and behold, I forgot the name. Copperhead Strike. Copperhead Strike now has that copper brown color. So I think Cedar Fair has found their go-to color. And it does look awesome. Like,
it does.
It's look amazing.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in love with it. Can't wait to see vertical construction start. They seem really far behind. But I have no idea. Maybe they're not in as much of a rush. I know winter isn't as harsh down there, so maybe they're not behind.
I've heard that they're going to be starting vertical around sometime late September, but late September is nearing, so it might be early October, but you'll just have to stay tuned and see what happens. Seems like early October will be somewhere, but I could be wrong. So
super excited. Yeah. Hershey Park. Okay, so I don't have too much to say on this because I made a whole video on it, and we kind of know what it's going to be at this point. It's probably going to be a B&M Hyper. I mean, it's not guaranteed to be a B&M Hyper. It can end up being anything. It just makes sense if it's a B&M Hyper. So we know that's going to be 220 feet tall. The layout looks very B&M Hyper-ish, B&M Hyper-esque. There is a small chance, there has been small talk about a wing coaster potential. The layout looks a little prolonged for it to be a wing coaster, but who knows with that kind of height, if it's going for a world record. Hershey Park's one of those parks that I expect massive. I haven't been there yet, and in my video I said the same thing. This is one of those parks I have to go to next year because every time I look at their coaster lineup, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about it?
I'd say, for one, I do think this will be a B&M Hyper. And Hershey Park, honestly has some, really big plans. I've been to the park. I went this year in April, and the park is honestly awesome. So, and they also get the attendance numbers and the revenue that they need to do massive expansions, which is why we're saying, a new entrance, revamp, probably new area, and a new coaster. So I think, Hershey Park is honestly one of the parks that you have to go to. And I definitely think you're going to like it, Brendan, when you go, because the park is awesome. And I definitely think this B&M Hyper is an interesting ad, considering that they already have a Hyper, Sky Rush. So I
Mhm.
think it's interesting to see how that kind of plays out in terms of how well it does, considering they already have a hyper.
Mhm. Yeah, awesome. Oh, the topic of discussion today: white whale or Moby Dick or white cyclone or blue whale. Like, how many names does this coaster have now?
Like six.
So here's some newer construction pics of white cyclone. And yeah, I mean, it's for me. This is so we were in our Discord server, and this is the topic that started a whole fight.
Woo!
What's better, RMC Steel Vengeance or IMC White Whale? And literally, it was like everyone was fighting. People were posting memes. It was the funniest thing ever. I was living for it. But it's a hard topic because it's like, which one is better? I mean, like, from what I'm seeing right now, because first of all, the animation sucks. Like, no offense, that animation's terrible. The angle that they're showing the model to doesn't show us everything. So basically, from what I'm seeing so far, I have to say Steel Vengeance is still number one by far, in my opinion. But we don't know everything yet. Like, I feel like we're not going to know anything until the coaster opens and Theme Park Review posts a POV or Coaster Force or someone, right?
Yeah.
What do you think, Easton?
Um. um. Keeping it short and sweet. Both of the RMCs look amazing. Um. You'll have to be on Discord to hear what I think. But I do think that both of them are amazing. I think that I'm really surprised with what they're planning to do with RMC White Cyclone. Like, I don't know. It's just both of them look amazing, and that's where I'll leave it. And I'm actually I'm just surprised with what they did because if you see in these pictures, they've actually kind of removed quite a bit. In the one picture to the left, you see they removed that entire side, right? So you're like, this will
Yeah.
be the. So I do think it is awesome what they did with it, considering what they have to deal with. Those two massive helixes, right? So they're turning those into outer bank turns and wave turns, and fantastic.
So I just noticed that's not even blue track installed. It's blue netting to almost show where the track's going.
Yeah. So that the blue netting
Yeah.
you see is where the double up is, and the
Yeah.
turn is probably where that outer bank is going to go, and yeah. So I think it is interesting. And
Very
also
interesting.
for anyone wondering, the track is blue. Track has appeared on site at Nagashima Spa It's not orange, so in the animation it shows up orange, but the actual track will be blue.
Mm-hmm.
Also, hello Sully. Hello.
It looks like one of the people have arrived.
Yes.
Sally, you can join in at anytime you're free to, if you want to. Alrighty. This is the beauty of running the stream on this new software. We don't even have to add people in or anything. They can just come in when they are able to.
Yeah.
Yes. Is Cedar Point discussed in here? No, we don't have any news on Cedar Point yet. Okay, so I just wanted to thank cp.ki obsession on Instagram because he's the one that notified me about these leaks. Otherwise, I probably would have been a little delayed because I was literally making videos when this all leaked. But so our first one is SeaWorld Orlando, and it looks like it's a launched coaster. We're going to talk about, we're going to play a little devil's advocate on this topic because there's a lot of people that are like, these are fake, these are real, like, you know what I mean? And I do have to say, it could go either way because looking at these a second time, they don't look official. They almost look like something I could quickly build right now.
Yeah, Planco, honestly.
Yeah,
No, know what I mean.
So we'll go over it. We'll pretend these are somewhat real for now. But remember, even with the Yukon Striker at Canada's Wonderland, parks will purposely throw you off nowadays because in our interview with the park on the announcement day, they told us enthusiasts are getting smarter. They're finding things way too soon, so they do things to mislead you. So let's assume these are real, but definitely also keep in the back of your mind that these don't look anything official from the park yet. And until the park makes an announcement or you see something like full on document wise, these aren't documents, these are PowerPoints. This is a PowerPoint presentation. I wouldn't fully believe these until you see something document wise that fully supports this. And the to be discussed for 2020 have me like, would they really be TBD this close to production? Like, I feel like they would know a lot of these facts, like especially like inversions. Like you have a rendering here for a coaster,
Right.
but the inversions are still to be discussed. But okay, let's go into it a little bit. So SeaWorld Orlando is apparently getting a launch coaster with airtime and banked turns, and it has inversions. So some very great information they provided for us this leak. Wonderful. So what do you think, Eastern, of the rendering, the blurry rendering?
I think it's interesting, although what I'm still trying to understand is, you know how in renderings it kind of shows the entire area? Based off of this rendering, you don't really see too many surrounding coasters. So if this is real, which, you know, we don't know yet, but let's say for the sake of the conversation, they possibly are. We don't really see what's around it, so I'm kind of like, but if this is real, the layout does look, pretty good.
Does it not remind you of Max Force?
It kind of does, how it kind of has that one straight layout and like all the elements that are back to back and how it's like fast paced. Like, I'm kind of getting Max Force vibes almost. Yeah, I definitely can see that.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry, guys. We are talking about everything that we learned today. So Kings Island is coming.
Yes.
Anything else to say about SeaWorld Orlando? I mean, I don't want to get too in depth because we don't know if these are real yet, and it would really suck to present on something that's not real.
Yeah.
All right. So SeaWorld San Antonio. It's getting a 100-foot tall plus or minus to be discussed. 50 to 55 miles per hour to be discussed. Located in the new Turtle Realm. I feel like this is like a SoCal prediction. Like PowerPoint. SoCal Screams PowerPoint presentation on what's coming next year. That's what I honestly feel like this is. That's why I don't want to present too long on it because so a little shade there, but that's okay. So located in new Turtle Realm area of the park. So they're suggesting the park might have a new Turtle Realm. I don't know why they're using the word realm. The more I'm reading these, the more I am losing faith in these being real, just so you know.
Yeah.
And they're looking for the longest wooden coaster in Texas.
That looks like something that actually could happen. But just like talking about the actual like leak, like for one, looking at the layout does not look like a GCI layout in my honest opinion.
And does that not look like it would be the world's longest wooden coaster?
It definitely would, but it doesn't look like something that GCI or like Gravity Group would make it. Like, I don't know, the layout just seems like abnormal, which obviously can happen. We've seen abnormal layouts for, rides, right? But like, I don't know. The more I'm looking at it and like concept and everything, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
All right, let's move on then, because I'm starting to think these are really fake. Busch Gardens Williamsburg 2020. This is what has me shook. So, Family Thrill Coaster is underneath that, right? Family Thrill Coaster, but look at this thing that they have in the rendering.
Yeah.
Family Thrill Coaster. You can take your kids on this new 200-foot tall spike, soaring with dragons-esque coaster with a 76 mile per hour launch. Multi-launch shuttle coaster, fastest coaster in Busch Gardens Williamsburg. But don't worry, guys, it's a family thrill coaster.
Yeah.
What do you? Okay, I'm really I'm kind of over this. And then look at this one, Steel Vengeance picture used for the Busch Gardens Tampa 2020. High thrill coasters hidden in there. Opening April 2020. Stats are still being worked out through the ride vendor. No, okay. I think I need to make a video, like an emergency video after this stream. I think it's safe to say that these are fake.
Yeah, I mean, talking about Busch Gardens Williamsburg quickly, like pretty much showed 300 feet, and the coaster isn't even like 250 feet. Like I have questions. But
Who joined us?
Sully.
Sully? Okay. Sully.
What? Oh, there you go.
Oh, I think your mic cut out a bit. Speak again.
Okay, honestly, the just all seem like rumors that we've heard in the...
Oh, Sully, your mic is not working.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty. I guess we'll move on. And if Sully gets his mic, we can always go back and touch on it because I think you wanted to say something there. So as you know, every time we release a Cedar Point conspiracy theory, we will discuss it on our weekly stream. And this week it was those poor people are about to be like bulldozed by a wrecking ball. We're going to discuss Magnum. Is Magnum being removed? And for any of you that watched the video, I said no. I think that's a fail of a rumor. And I just think that Magnum is too good of a coaster to even be considered to be removed. I get it. It's uncomfortable, but you guys have to go to a park like Canada's Wonderland or other parks that really have the definition of an uncomfortable ride. This ride, and I'm a older dude. I'm 28. I'm bigger too. I'm tall as well. So fitting in these kinds of rides is hard. And rides hurt me more than they hurt like other people. And this ride isn't actually that painful for me. I love it. I think it's one of my favorites. I even on a good day, I might be like, that's as good as Behemoth for me. I just triggered a lot of people, but that's okay. I mean, it's a good hyper. What do you think, Easton? Have you been on Magnum?
Oh, yes. I actually really like Magnum. Magnum, in my opinion, is like a top 3 at the park for me because I went before the almighty Steel Vengeance, which, of course, is definitely the number 1 at the park in my opinion. Magnum is honestly underrated. People are like, oh, it's rough, it's old. But you have to remember, without Magnum, we wouldn't have rides like Millennium Force, like Top of the Dragster, like GIGA, like all these major coasters that everyone loves, right? It all started with Magnum because of, its records and things like that. So why would they remove a coaster that is the reason why we have all of these other amazing? So in my opinion, I don't see Magnum being removed at all, mainly because of, what it really created for us enthusiasts and, coasters in general.
Mm-hmm. It's just way too good of a ride. It takes up hardly any land because it heads on back to this area of land that they do not need for anything. And they have other coasters that will be removed well before Magnum is even considered to be removed.
For sure.
And it's a family coaster. And I mean in the sense of it's one of those like coasters that, those younger kids step up to before they go on like a coaster like Top of the Dragster. And you look at family parks at Canada's Wonderland and you need those stepping stone coasters. And this is one of those. And this coaster is just full of memories. I would actually cry if this thing was like removed. But I guess that covers Magnum. Yeah. What do you guys start typing? What do you think? Do you think it's going to be removed or do you think it's safe?
Magnum XL200 is worse than RCT3's coaster builder. Oh my god.
Oh, shade has been detected. Kings Island. Alrighty. What is going on? So thanks to FYE. Eastern, can you talk?
Oh, hello. Hello.
Can you take over for a second? I'm having a problem.
Yes. Basically, Kings Island has announced that one of the roller coasters will be removed for the season, and its last ride I believe will be on October 28th. And there are lots of rumors of what parks are honestly going to get this kind of removal. Rumors are Vertigo or Firehawk, and some people are even thinking Bat. So, yeah.
All right, I'm back. I'm sorry. Got a phone call.
Is my mic working?
Yeah.
It's a little bit. I can try again. Talk again. He sounds like a computer board, you can hear like. All right, so I was saying FYE Coasters on Facebook provided pictures and videos for our video tomorrow. We will be dropping our predictions and stuff for Kings Island in a video tomorrow. So it'll be up at 5 a.m. tomorrow. And yeah, so it looks like the biggest rumor and the biggest kind of like facts that are dropping is it looks like Firehawk is probably the most likely coaster to be removed. There's rumors coming out from like employees and stuff that have been said that they've been told that Firehawk is closing this season. And it makes sense because Dinosaurs Alive closed and there's a massive plot of land that is available for expansion, and Firehawk just so happens to be located next to it. And the biggest rumor is a Kings Island GIGA. Ooh.
Ooh.
Sully, we might have to mute you.
Sick.
All right. So a couple things before we got confirmation today that it was a coaster anyways, is the Rest in Pieces was definitely confirmation that it was most likely going to be a coaster being removed. Just the fact that they had pieces there. But what do you think, Eastern, about all this?
In my opinion, I honestly think that Firehawk is the one to go. Considering that the rumor that Firehawk will be moved to Kentucky Kingdom, I think that makes sense. And also, what I'm hearing, Firehawk hasn't had the best time at Kings Island, so I think for the park it would make the most sense to remove it. Also, considering the fact that it sits in a very usable plot of land for a new coaster.
For sure. What about you, Fluffy?
Hi everybody. Yeah, I know I'm late, but I think it's Firehawk because of the fact that they did say that the air or something like that. And I think obviously a hawk is a bird and it goes through the air, so I think I think that's also a giveaway right there.
What a great analogy, Fluffy. I'm definitely applauding you. No, I'm kidding. So what do you think Eastern and Fluffy is coming to Kings Island then?
One thing I'd say, I definitely think they are going to get a new coaster of some sort. However, I am one of the people who do not think it will come in 2020. And I know I'm about to get ripped in the comments by Kings Island home park goers, but
drag him.
I think I do think the reason why they're not getting anything is because, unfortunately, Kings Island doesn't do the best in returning when it comes to big coasters. When you look at Banshee and Mystic Timbers, they haven't really had that much of a growth in numbers. So I think that I think they're going to need to wait a little bit more until they get a new coaster. Also, something around 2022 would make sense, in my opinion, because the 50th anniversary is in 2022, and that would make for a large roller coaster for their 50th anniversary, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. All right. And you, Fluffy, what do you think's coming?
I think Eastern's right about the 50th anniversary thing. I think that would be a perfect time for them to get a big coaster. You said it was 2021 or 2022?
2022, yep.
I think that's a bit of a stretch. That being said, I think it's also giving them time to really prepare for it all, and maybe we could see a smaller edition in the meantime. I mean, remember, this isn't Six Flags. They don't get something new every single year. We could be seeing an off year and then a small year and then maybe the big coaster. But who knows? Maybe they could do like a 2-year thing like Great America did for their 40th anniversary and what Cedar Point's going to do for their 150th. So maybe we could see it in 2021 maybe instead. But that's just a thought.
Alrighty. And I just want to check in. Are our slides actually matching up with what we're talking about? Just because it's new software. It's all programmed automatically. So is everything good? We're on a Kings Island slide?
As far as I can see on my end, yes.
Perfect. Okay, wow, the software is amazing.
Yeah.
All right, Canada's Wonderland. We will go back and quickly touch on subjects that you guys, so in your question period, feel free to ask us about any of the subjects we covered, and then we'll go back and talk about, because it looks like some of you missed some of the Kentucky Kingdom things, and for me, that's an amazing topic to discuss. So it seems like finally Canada's Wonderland has announced to their stockholders about the hotel, and some interesting words were used. So for any of you that watched my 10-year expansion Canada's Wonderland video, I presented my honest thoughts on what could be coming to Canada's Wonderland over the next 10 years based off of the Toronto market and how much of a market there is to profit off of as a company. And it seems like Cedar Fair is finally coming to their senses and realize that Canada's Wonderland has the potential to be one of their biggest parks. And I mean literally their biggest park. There are so many people that live around this park you guys don't understand unless you're Canadian. This park has the potential to hit like 10 million attendance in like 10, 20 years if they really got down to it. I don't actually mean they're going to hit 10 million. I don't even think that park's big enough to hold that much, but there's a lot of potential, and it looks like they realize it. So this is just part of Cedar Fair's significant investment in Canada's Wonderland, one of our portfolio's largest and most successful parks. We expect strong attendance growth there, driven by the introduction of a new world record breaking roller coaster, Yukon Striker, and addition of an immersive holiday event, Winterfest, both launching in 2019. This development will mark the next evolution in the park's diverse offerings, providing park guests, business travelers, and tourists with convenient accommodations in a growing area. So those are very significant words for anyone in business marketing or anyone that understands how business works or how investments work in a business. So lots of words in there, definitely revealed the future of Canada's Wonderland. It's one of those parks that have been just kind of used in the past for income to help other parks get their investments. And it's really sad. So lots of land was sold off that the park owned to help pay off Cedar Fair investments. Just investments have been kind of slow for this park, and it's a shame. But it looks like the park is off to a significant growth in the future, and it looks like maybe we'll finally get back to that investment every 2 years that it was happening up until something happened with Yukon Striker and Cedar Point. Go watch my Cedar Point Stole Canada's Wonderland's Coaster video if you don't understand. Yes, the title is a bit clickbaity, but it gets the point out there as to what I'm trying to convey for those that are general public and watch my channel. But yeah, what do you guys think about the wording and Canada's Wonderland? What do you guys think could honestly be coming?
I definitely think Canada's Wonderland is going to be the next park to kind of receive major expansions. One, they are doing extremely well. And, you know, even on some of the calls, we hear how Canada's Wonderland is doing so well. They have, you know, one of the largest attendances out of the Cedar Fair chain. And they also, you know, generate a lot of money for Cedar Fair. So I definitely think it's about time that Canada's Wonderland starts getting the expansions that it needs. Whether it's new roller coasters, new experiences, new areas, new lands. I just think that Wonderland is the next park to receive a massive expansion.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Fluffy?
Going off of what Eastern said, it's definitely shaping up to be one of the best parks. Not the best, obviously, Cedar Point. But no shade thrown to you, Canada's Wonderland fans. Okay. But yeah, this is definitely shaping up to be one of the best Cedar Fair parks, and with them expanding it, and with the Yukon Striker project, maybe it can grow. It's probably going to grow even further in attendance too. I can't wait to see the future development of the park, and I really think that over the course of a few years, we're going to start seeing pretty big additions to the park.
Yeah, at the ACE event, it was kind of hinted that there would be some pretty significant investments coming as well. Lots of wording around older attractions that have high costs being, I forget the word they used. It was kind of like, oh, Easton, do you remember the word they used? I used it in my video.
Wasn't it like It
was something like restored.
Yeah.
Something like that. I'm totally having a brain fart right now.
Yeah.
4 videos today. I need a break again. Going back on vacation. But yeah, so moving forward, I'm getting a lot of messages. People are like, how come you're not doing daily construction updates anymore? Like, are you doing a construction update today? Are you doing a construction update today? I just wanted to let you all know on the live stream, since a lot of the Canada's Wonderland fans do watch these streams, we are going down to most likely 2, 3 if there's like an emergency update, or I know something is being placed in, I'm going to go film. So we're going to go down to 2 to 3 construction updates weekly. It's just to keep the content fresh for you guys, and so we're not like reporting on 2 bolts have been installed in a footer. And as the channel grows, we have more content we need to report on. As you saw today, we literally pumped out 3 videos that I wasn't even expecting. So we need to have like time slots available on the channel, and slots available for other content around the world to be able to go in as our channel grows. In fact, a lot of people don't know, but 55% of my audience is actually American. So that is why the Canadian content is starting to slow down. I apologize for the original fans of the channel, but the channel does need to evolve in order to continue to grow. And I really appreciate everyone watching the channel. I never expected it to grow to the rate it is at right now. And it's phenomenal that the team and I are literally planning for our 10K milestone and planning on what content we're going to do. But yeah, I'm like, on that note, our Patreon. So a lot of people don't know. So a lot of people have been messaging me like, oh, I'd like to buy merch or I'd like to support you somehow. We actually have a Patreon set up. It is Amusement Insiders on Patreon. For $1 a month, you literally get exclusive access to videos, sometimes 2 days in advance. If there's an event that I literally have an open spot for, the Patreons are the first ones invited to the event. So if there's like a construction tour and I'm allowed 3 people, then like a Patreon will be chosen to come with us to help film, obviously. And then we also have the ability, our Patreons are allowed to, if you're looking on our stream, our Patreons can chat live on our weekly streams or any live streams that we will be holding. So that's super exciting with this new platform that we're streaming off of. I know this is like a shameful plug right now, but even $1 a month goes a long way. So if you really like us and really like our content, subscribe for $1 a month and you get all this exclusive content. Now it is question period. So
I totally did not leave by accident.
What questions does everyone have?
yeah, does anyone have questions about what we covered?
Yeah.
Oh, I have questions. What did we cover?
Oh.
I wasn't here.
Oh, so we have this crazy theory. I should say I have this crazy theory so I don't throw Eastern under the bus and he doesn't get hate mail. I have this really strange feeling that Firehawk might be going to Kentucky Kingdom. And it's basically one of the biggest things is the timing. So the timing of the announcement with the closure of Firehawk. And then the Kentucky Flyer. If this was a flat ride, I have a feeling it would be Flyers. Like if it was like a Sky Roller, Flyers would be the more appropriate name for it. The fact that it's singular and not plural has me thinking it's like, a train. So like a flying coaster or some coaster of that type. Maybe it'll be that new model. It could be that too. Those look really cheap. I just have a feeling. I just have a sneaky feeling. And I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's totally fine because I have no idea what's going on with Kings Island. It's not my home park. I just have this weird feeling that maybe Firehawk was sold to Kentucky Kingdom. So, Fluffy, what do you think about that since you weren't here for that?
I don't think you're the first person to actually think of that. I think I've actually heard that theory a couple times before. Honestly, if you think about it from a logical standpoint and I guess a logical standpoint, I don't really know. It kind of makes sense. I mean, it's really interesting. And yeah, what you're saying about the flyer and flyers, you have a big point there. And honestly, who knows if that's going to be true.
For sure. We have someone that wants us to dive in a little deeper into the RMC Gwazi. So Busch Gardens, Tampa. What do you guys think they are going to do with RMC Gwazi? Do you think they're going to go for any world records with it?
Longest dueling hybrid coaster. Bam.
I think if they make it a dueling hybrid coaster, because we don't, a lot of us believe that it will be dueling, but we don't know that for sure. I personally don't know. I think it will be a dueling hybrid coaster, but again, like I say, we don't know. They could pull a Storm Chaser and make it one layout, although the layout does kind of weave in and out, so it is kind of more of a dueling coaster layout. And if anything, I do agree with Fluffy. I think they will go for the longest dueling hybrid coaster record, and they'll probably claim that they have the longest hybrid coaster record since, they essentially fall in the same category with it being one coaster. But it is a dueling coaster, so it would technically count as the longest dueling hybrid as well.
They'll probably also go for tallest dueling hybrid coaster as well.
And do you think it'll be a Mobius loop?
Honestly, it might be. Could be. Coaster? Oh my god, that would be long. That would be one super long coaster then.
It wouldn't be the layout of Guazi times 2, because remember, RMCs do normally cut out some of the layouts, so probably would lose about as much track as Twisted Colossus did, and I'm assuming that lost about 2 to 3,000 feet, so might not be longer, but it might be, a tiny bit longer.
And do you think this might... Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just saying by like 500 feet, but what were you going to say?
Do you think this could give Steel Vengeance a run for its money based off of the length potential here?
This and RMC and White Whale. I'm throwing it out there. I think it's going to give Steel Vengeance for its money.
Yeah.
I think with the amount of people that love Colossus because it's dueling, if you ramp that up, I do think that it is possible for it to give it a run for its money.
Oh, So we have a great adventure question, Eastern, and I know you would love to rant a little bit on this. So the red carpet is laid out for you. Go for your rant.
Okay, so for all the Great Adventure fans, I will say this is a mini rant, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. But Great Adventure, the park president basically has said that the next attraction would be tall, steel, and tall, fast, and made of steel. The park president also has claimed that Great Adventure's next attraction will make headlines and break records. What's a concept that we know isn't out yet? RMC T-Rex. Now, when are those supposed to be made? Those, from what I'm hearing, those will be coming out in 2020. I do think it is possible that an RMC T-Rex could go to Six Flags Great Adventure. What are you thinking? What records could it break? It could break tallest, fastest, and longest single rail in the world. Those are easy records that they could take. I will say, I think Great Adventure's next coaster is an RMC of some sort, and if I had to choose one type that it would be, I do think it would be an RMC T-Rex. I do think that is likely.
I have a counter argument for that, Eastern.
Oh, left.
We have not seen a single major development on the T-Rex track.
Well, I have something to counteract that.
Oh?
Someone recently went to the RMC factory, and one of the workers has stated that an RMC T-Rex has been confirmed for a company. And they have made a commitment to making an RMC T-Rex for a company. What's a company that has mostly taken all of the first RMCs? Six Flags. What is a Six Flags park that's doing really well, but doesn't have an RMC? Six Flags Great Adventure.
Alrighty, let's end the argument there, because this could go on for hours. Someone asked about Skull Mountain Fanboy asked about Skull Mountain being underrated, and I will say I have heard from multiple people that it is underrated. In fact, some people have it really high up on their list. Tino, shout out to Tino from our Discord.
Woohoo! Yeah.
And T-Rex tracks, T-Rex coasters are very expensive.
Well, Great Adventure can afford them. I'll step in there and say that.
The whole point about me asking Eastern doing the counter argument was because I wanted to see what he had to say about the major development not happening lately. So,
oh well, I do think it will be going out somewhere. But on to Skull Mountain, it is underrated. Although it is a family coaster, it does actually give good airtime in the back row, and it's in the dark, so it kind of adds to the experience, in my opinion. And I do think it is an underrated ride. I do think it is a good ride. Is it better than Nitro? In my opinion, no. Is it better than any of the B&Ms at the park? In my opinion, no. But I do think it is a great ride.
Mm-hmm. So Zero Good Productions is asking, Cedar Point claims to top Steel Vengeance in 2020. Can you talk about wow. I really need to stop 4 videos in a day. Of the statement. And I'm personally going to say I'm not sure about that. Obviously, any theme park company, even Canada's Wonderland, says this, that they always aim to top their previous attractions as guests look for bigger and better. Right. But topping something like Steel Vengeance is difficult, but it all depends on what you preference as well. So, for example, let's say Cedar Point, I'm not saying they are, I'm just saying, let's say Cedar Point built a world record flying coaster. Someone like me, I love flying coasters. For me, that would be kind of topping Steel Vengeance, in my opinion. just because that's one of my favorite coaster models, and I love it. And I totally get it that why people don't like it as much as I do as well. But it's all in reference to what you prefer. But yeah, so it's a difficult question to answer. Will the 2020 coaster top Steel Vengeance? Because for some it will, for some it won't, and then for the general public, I don't think they even know what's going on, and they'll just love it.
I'll say if you like flying coasters, then you will love Tatsu.
Yeah, I probably would actually.
And no, I actually guarantee that you will love it.
I love Manta's one of my favorites. Does time warp count as a flying coaster? No, that's literally a torture device.
Not even a coaster, just a torture device.
All right. Does anyone else have any other questions before we wrap up?
I hope all the Busch or SeaWorld Entertainment new coasters actually happen.
Yeah, I have a feeling that these are fake leaks. They look like something I could build in PowerPoint right now if I wanted to.
Right.
In fact, I actually think some of our slides look better.
Yeah, listen, Linda.
Like, yeah. So our Drop Towers credits? No, they're not. Time Warp is my favorite flat ride.
Mm.
Well, I guess that's it, guys. I really appreciate you guys joining our stream. Hopefully you like our new setup. It works really well. We even have an ending screen now, so while we head out, we can still type and respond to you guys in the chat section while we cancel and get ourselves out instead of just leaving out of nowhere. So thanks for joining us, guys. As usual, head on over to our Patreon or Discord and join in on some awesome fights or topics of discussion. Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a good one.
Says fights.
See ya.
Bye bye.